Hello, Patriots, and welcome back to the Patriot Dad channel, where we can discuss current events and modern issues, all while keeping it as real as possible. Today, we're going to be doing a reaction to a little bit of a news clip from France 24's English YouTube channel, as well as looking at some key economic data coming out of Argentina in November of 2024. This is just going on 1 year of Javier Milei being in office. So, I'll be very interested in to see what the economists are saying. And then we can take a look at a couple of articles showing what the current rate of inflation is and how we're looking if it's a deficit or a surplus in the federal government in Argentina. But before we get started, I just wanted to let you know that during the ramp up to the 2024 election, the Rogue Dermatologist and the Patriot Dad channel are collaborating to bring you another great deal. In remembrance of the attempt on Trump's life, if you follow the link to TrumpMug24.com, it'll take you straight here. Scroll down, add it to your cart, go to checkout, enter the code PDMUG, and you'll save 20%. Take advantage of this offer while it's still available. Now, back to the video. Let's get the first video clip pulled up, and we will listen in on this, and then we'll go over those articles. And I will have a link to this full video down in the description.
I don't think it's similar. I think that provinces have their fiscal accounts more or less in order. La Rioja has been an outlier. And I think that we'll see that this situation by La Rioja, where it is an economy mostly based in public work and public expenditures.
Which is probably not a good thing. Like he just said, a lot of the provinces are starting to get their financial houses in order. So if the provinces can get their financial house in order and the federal government there can get its house in order, it sounds like things are turning around for the better. Now, there's definitely been some growing pains and some hurt there in the lower class. As can be expected, the entire government was just spending money on programs and giving it to people. So yeah, when you cut government spending, there's going to be some pain. But if the end result is the country can turn around and do better and be invested in by international companies and can bring an investment from the outside, that gives the future some hope.
It's not as representative of the reality of all the fiscal accounts of the provinces. However, I do think that provinces are feeling the impact of this recession, and it's going to be quite challenging for them to find a way, for the regional economies to find a way for a recovery.
Now, Argentina remains unable to borrow money on the international markets. Some $14 billion worth of debt repayments are going to be due next year. How is Milei dealing with that?
So I would say that the problem that Milei has is it's not pesos. The fiscal accounts seem in order. The thing is, they lack of dollars.
Which one of his main things was the dollarization of the economy. So if they can't get international funds and they are lacking the number of dollars that they need, that could be dicey.
And in terms of the maturities that are coming for 2025, I would say that the most challenging maturities come from January and July, which is sovereign debt payments. The other maturities include international organizations and even a swap with the Chinese central bank. I do believe that there's possibilities of rollover those maturities. And for the other maturities with the bondholders of Argentina, dollars have been assured for January, and for July, the perspectives of having those dollars looks plausible. Argentina is regaining access, looks promising to regaining access to financial markets. And eventually, we're talking about the possibility of a new IMF program that would avoid pressure from the dollars, the maturities that has with international organizations, and can pave the way to accomplish those maturities. So as for in the short term, I don't see any risk.
Well, that's really good to hear. It sounds like he might be getting support, and I bet you that he will have more support from President Trump. We've seen video clips of them meeting in person than he would have gotten from a Harris or a Biden administration. So I think that there is a lot more hope for Argentina in the next 4 years based on the outcome of the U.S. presidential elections. What do you guys think? Do you think we need to go through an Argentina-style fuera cutting of government agencies? I think that's part of why Elon and Vivek got brought in for the Department of Governmental Efficiency, yeah? I'm really really looking forward to seeing what this next incoming administration has in store for us, because I've lost a lot of confidence in our federal government here in the United States. They are spending us into oblivion, kind of like Argentina did for a while. And I think that Milei seems to be kind of leading the way here in the West, along with Bukele, to really turn things around. We can't keep spending ourselves into oblivion. We just can't. There's just too much debt out there already. So much. We're already spending more servicing the debt than we do on our national defense, which is insane.
We'll have to see what happens next, and that will depend on how Argentina is capable to regain access to financial markets to keep on financing its foreign debt.
Now, Milei has claimed that his ideology is similar to that of Donald Trump. He's already met with the U.S. president-elect since his victory earlier this month.
Hey, we just talked about that.
What do you make of that relationship and what it means for Milei's place on the international stage?
For Milei, in the short term, Trump's victory are good news.
I think that's an understatement, but I would agree.
He bet on Trump's victory, and it was successful. It's really useful also for Milei in terms of internal support. He keeps on building momentum, and that is really useful.
There we go. There's some of the video clips. We've seen other clips too, but look at him looking at Trump. Like, he is so excited, so happy to be there. And I think that relationship could bring a lot of good things in the future.
For a weak government without political power, with no governors and weak at Congress. In the international sphere, although we may find some differences in terms of the policy that these two presidents may apply, it's also useful in terms of a new right that can eventually move some agendas and shared agendas in the global sphere, in terms of climate policies, in terms of their disagreements with the international order and multilateral organizations. However,
when I hear words like multilateral organization and all kinds of things, I just fall asleep. I just can't do it, guys. I don't know why we care so much about what all these other countries think in the world, especially ones that hate us. Like, why do I care to do business? Yes, when trade is flowing, rarely are there wars. So in that case, sure, trade is good. But when we operate trade at a deficit and we are funding our enemies through our current monetary policies, I question it. Because in the end, we might end up losing that war without firing a single shot, because we will just get decimated economically while they just build things using slave labor overseas. Not good. These international agreements should never be entered into if they are not advantageous for us first.
Do you think that the eventual policy of tariffs of Trump may impact Milei's necessities to regaining access to financial markets, as that would mean that attractiveness, it's no longer for emerging markets, but mostly for the dollar. So it's a mixed combination of things. And of course, what Milei will want in the short term is Trump's support for renegotiating an IMF agreement, the current IMF agreement of Argentina, and eventually get new funds that would allow him to accumulate reserves and recover the finance of this country.
Speaking of reserves, Trump's already kicking around the idea of a Bitcoin reserve. Doesn't seem so crazy now, does it? Because other countries have already done it, and we are no longer leading in that space. If the federal government decides to buy a lot of Bitcoin, guys, the price of Bitcoin is going to be crazy. This is not financial advice. This is definitely not investment advice. But the crypto markets are kind of one of those insane speculations and manias that are just hard to describe. I'm perfectly okay with traditional investments, long-term investments, Benjamin Graham style investments. This speculation and betting and gambling just ain't for me.
Juan Ignacio Carranza, thank you so much for joining us today from Buenos Aires.
Thank you, a pleasure.
Okay, so that's the end of that interview. So what do you guys think? Are you guys as big a fan as I am of Javier Milei? Do you like to see what he's doing in his country? I just like to see a leader that cares about their own country. I know it sounds weird, like they should all care about their own countries, but it just doesn't feel like they do. So what do we got though? We got an update on inflation. What's this update on inflation? Well, inflation unexpectedly cools in another Milei victory. So this is the Buenos Aires Times from November 12th of 2024. Argentina's monthly inflation rose less than expected in November, handing President Javier Milei another victory. You can see here that Argentina's monthly inflation rose less than expected in November, Consumer prices rose 2.4% compared to the 2.8% median forecast. Annual inflation slowed to 166%. So month over month, 2.8. That's still very, very high, guys. But it's nowhere near the 300% or whatever it was earlier on. So that's good, right? Well, what else do we got? You got Javier Milei's first year. This is Financial World. $3 billion surplus and tenfold lower inflation in 2024. So you can see here, controversial Argentine president introduced free trade in the country, and Argentina has a budget surplus after more than a century. President Milei and the government hope that new laws, which offer investors decades of tax and customs relief, will quickly attract capital and curb the recession. So he fulfilled his campaign promise quickly after coming to power and resulting in a $3 billion budget surplus a year later. Guys, we haven't done that. When was the last time that the United States had a budget surplus? Actually, that's a good question. So as we found here, I just asked a quick question, guys. Quick question. Last time the U.S. had a budget surplus was fiscal year 2001. From 98 to 2001, during President Bill Clinton's administration, we had 4 consecutive years of budget surpluses. Isn't it kind of crazy to think about that we have not had a budget surplus since 2001? It has been almost a quarter of a century since the United States has had a budget surplus. It had been over a century since Argentina had one, and Milei turned that around in 1 year. So we can all hope and pray and cheer for our current president-elect. But I really hope that with the Department of Governmental Efficiency, with Trump's ideas, and with tariffs and everything else, that maybe, just maybe, we will also see a budget surplus in the next few years. Now, this would also require cooperation from Congress. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, neither presidents nor Congresses since 2001 have come together to give us a budget surplus. And the rhinos and everyone else that are currently in Congress don't really seem interested in it. They seem fine with deficit spending because their friends benefit from it. This is the crony capitalism and the nonsense that leads to the destruction of a country. But you know what? They're fine with it because on the way down, their friends are getting rich and they're getting kickbacks and they're getting rich. So why the hell not, right? Yeah, screw all those guys. It's just wrong. It's just wrong, folks. I don't know. What are your thoughts on it? Do you think that we should have a surplus? Do you think that deficit spending is good? Do you believe in Keynesian economics? Do you think the Federal Reserve should just keep printing money like it's going out of style and their money printer will just keep going burr for all eternity? Or do you think we should do some Afuera style cuts, get our financial house in order, and spend less than we bring in so that we can actually pay off our debts, or grow at a rate that is fast enough that we can afford the debt that we currently have? Because right now we can't. Our programs are going insolvent. Our government is accumulating an additional $1 trillion in debt every about 100 days right now. And we currently spend more servicing the debt, that's paying interest, than we spend on the military, which is insane. Absolutely insane. What are your guys' thoughts on that? Thank you to those of you who made it to the end of this video. I greatly appreciate your support. If you're looking for ways to support the channel, please check out the links down in the description below. You could take advantage of either of the ongoing offers with the Rogue Dermatologist. You can use our promotion code when purchasing coffee brand coffee. Every little bit helps, and every bit of help I get helps me bring you more value and more content. So thank you in advance. You can support the channel for free just by liking this video, commenting on the video, sharing this video with friends and family, and subscribing to the channel. Because every bit you do helps with the algorithm. Every bit we get help with the algorithm gets our videos out to more people, and again, allows me to bring you all more value and more content. You can hop on over to the Discord, join the conversations going on there, or you can go over to X and follow us there. I've also, just starting yesterday, started a discussion session, we'll just say, that I'll be doing on Saturday nights. So swing by one of those live streams in the coming weeks and just say hello. I look forward to interacting with y'all. If you have a recommendation for a future video or topic you want to see discussed or reacted to on the channel, please make sure you leave it in a comment below and I will get to it as soon as I can. I hope you all have a wonderful week and a Merry Christmas season. Take care of yourselves and God bless. Go ahead and check out one of the links on the screen now to either subscribe to the channel and see the rest of the videos of the channel or one of the carefully selected videos that you may wish to see that YouTube has used its algorithm to select for you.